Hi guys. Hi guys, I'm Celeste. Hi. I have not gotten ready for the day yet. I'm going to make tea. So let's go do that and then okay. This is water that I have from last night and it's still cold for some reason. That doesn't actually make sense. Like my room wasn't that cold, but it's still cold. My room was not that cold. I mean, it was cold, but it wasn't that cold. I had the air conditioning on, but it wasn't that cold. It wasn't like that cold to where it's like the mug is cold because the water is cold. Like that doesn't make sense. Anyway. First, I'm gonna add water. I feel like my voice is still waking up, but I'm trying to be more mindful of like how I sound when I talk, because I don't know yet, but you know how I just messed that up anyway, but I don't know if you guys are that mindful of it, but I used to think and feel like the way that I chose the first thoughts I would have in the morning would change the way that I woke up. So I used to wake up differently all the time in my mind by thinking about things a different way, like as if they're the branches or roots of a tree. So all the time I would be like, oh, the place that I got to with my thoughts today was a place that like I never get to and that I'll never be at again, because I used to have different types of thoughts throughout the day. Like I do, but like I'm more me now. So before I would just find it funny, like, oh, the like thought patterns I reached today are different than the ones that like I normally have. I used to be like a little bit more experimental, like unintentionally, I guess, with that. And then I would just kind of realize like, oh, that's where I'm at. So, but I was not making YouTube videos during that time. But clearly I was also kind of scattered mentally. That literally, my voice sounded like I'm dying. But it's funny because you want to know what? I don't mind when my voice sounds kind of off or weird, because those are interpretations I wasn't gonna get some other way. So it's almost like I'm unintentionally creating a part of myself that I wasn't going to have another way. So like the tone of voice and the exact way your voice sounds sets so much of the scene, and it adds so much to the idea of who you are. Even when it was like an accident that your voice sounded a certain way, it's like, well, now people have that version of you as who you are, like a tiny piece of who you are. Whatever they project onto that or turn that into, that's a tiny piece of who you are. So it's another small piece of me that could be like seen a certain way, essentially, that I wouldn't have been otherwise. So that was another, not specifically related to the voice, but another thing I learned during that point in time that I was just talking about is like I would see it like when you change the canvas that you are and the way that you're seen to other people. But like it was like so specific, like you don't really have to worry about the one part of you that's not perfect, because that's going to be the part that changes everything in a way that you don't realize is helping you. Anyway, I know it doesn't sound like that, I don't know, Makes sensey. Doesn't. Let's see how my hair is gonna be. Do I have to brush it for it to look how I want today? Do I have to? I could. I think so. Okay, for just water on my hair and brushing it, it kind of doesn't look bad so far. Do I want to wear this necklace today? I know it's cute and stuff. I got a pack of necklaces so I can show you the other ones and we'll see. So there's 4 other options. So this one, I don't know why I would wear it, but maybe someday I'll know why I would wear it. It's like a noodle, but it's like a bent noodle. It's just on there, like it like moves on the chain. So yeah, I don't know yet why I would wear that one, but like again, like who knows? What if someday I know why I would wear that one? That one's just there. This one has a little rose. Little rose. It's kind of, it reminds me of my poetry book and album, To Burn a Rose, but if anything, that's kind of why I don't want to wear it right now. Because I'm kind of mad. Not mad, but like annoyed at that part of myself. Right now, we're kind of beefing. Not really, but like a little bit. So I'm like, someday again, I might think it's cool to have. But right now, do I think it's cool to have? Not really. Not really. Why do I want to be reminded? I have so many cooler albums that I want to be reminded of that I've made. So, not that I don't want it to exist. It's just, you know. Okay, this little, it's just like little gems. Not gems. Fake diamonds or whatever they're called. I don't know. What are they called? But it's kind of just like in a row. Like if I wanted to be like kind of sparkly, right? Kind of sparkly but like modest. And this one's like a little cowgirl boot or like cowboy boot. It has like a little dark maroon flower on it or like dark purple. I don't know, like almost red. Yeah. And then like a little like pinky red thing right here. I don't know, are we feeling that one or are we feeling this? I think we're feeling this. So I don't know why I showed you. It's fine. Let's do my hair really quick. It's kind of flat, but it's not bad. It's just like I accidentally put like all the product on the front parts mostly, and then the back is like fluffy. But honestly, it just is how it is. It's fine. I'm gonna put this on my skin. You know what? One thing that I think is, I don't know. One thing I'm being observant about Taylor Swift about, again, like, I don't know what this does, right? Because, like, you know how there's Easter eggs, but there's Easter eggs at different levels intentionally, and I can tell that there's Easter eggs at different levels intentionally. But what if the only ones people are, like, supposed to get are, like, the really dumb ones? And the other ones, like, don't exist and people are searching for them because they don't know why it would be something, like, super interesting, but, like, it probably would or something, and then it's not. Or, like, yeah. And then I'm sure there's harder Easter eggs, but, like, you know what I mean? And then imagine, like, you intentionally place really hard Easter eggs and then you intentionally place really easy ones, but then, like, culture makes it seem like they're all hard to find. And then people will tell you either their level of investment in your career or, like, their level of consciousness, like, respectfully, but, like, you know what I'm saying? What if, like, that's one of the first things you find out when you meet somebody? What if they're like, oh my god, like, I love this one Easter egg, it was so hard to find, it was so meaningful when I found it, and then it was like the least meaningful one to you and also the easiest to find, that was intentionally easy to find, and you know what I mean? And then it's like, I don't know, I don't understand, like, not that I don't understand, it's just like, I would feel so uncomfortable, I guess. But I understand why maybe it would be good for the career and also to be inclusive and help everybody be able to find them. So I don't know. I just have this mindset where I'm trying to figure out, if I thought it would be really awkward information to know from the jump about somebody that I just met, but I felt like, you know, it just, Like, I don't know, it makes me stressed to think about, because I wouldn't want to have something to judge somebody based off of, like, if I immediately met them, if I didn't already have the judgment in my mind, I guess. Like, it just, but also, everyone makes judgments about everybody, and that's how you survive in life, that's how you don't die. But, you know, you have to know who you're taking advice from, and who you shouldn't be around, and everybody makes judgments about everybody. That's how you don't die. But if I received a randomly large amount of help with that, I would feel very confused about whether or not it was okay to know this information. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna get a tripod, I think. I think you guys need something like that. But then it's like, what if I would be so mean that I wouldn't know how much I would want Easter eggs that are super easy? Or what if the whole thing wasn't even, like, intentionally that there would be easy ones? They were just there at some point, you know? And it's weird. It's weird to me, but also shouldn't everybody have something at their level that they have the opportunity to have fun with? Like, I'm not against that. I'm just, like, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, when I see something like that, I'm like, okay, like, was it with, like, normal intentions, or was it, like, in some weird way, you know? Trying to, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happens. I'm not trying to be, like, you know, like, they can't have Easter eggs. Like, of course they can. It just feels weird. Like, it just feels, like, weird. So, I don't know. Just, yeah, I don't know. I guess I would feel embarrassed if I, you know, really felt like I tried super hard to, like, obviously there's people dumber than me, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I would feel so embarrassed personally if I, like, found out that, like, I tried super hard on something and then everybody else in the room is like, yeah, that's the easiest one, you know, but they don't say it. But, like, if I ever found out that they just didn't say it and thought it, I would just feel embarrassed. But it's, like, also, but if people just don't have the mental capacity for that, of course they deserve the right to have fun and still, like, work on themselves, and not even that, but, like, just enjoy their life. Like, of course they deserve that. It's not that I don't think that's fine, it's not. It's just, like, I don't know what it is. But it's also, like, hypothetically, what if all the Easter eggs that were intentional were the, like, super easy ones? And all the other ones were, like, accidentally there? I mean, that'd be kind of funny, but yeah. I don't know. So I'm not, like, biased against people being able to, like, have a fulfilling life with any mental capacity. It's just I personally would have felt, like, awkward if I did my best and then told everybody and then they were like, yeah, but we're on page 500 and, like, you just made it to page 1. Like, you know, or you read the easy version of the book, like, even though it was really hard or something. I don't know. I would have been biased against myself and felt awkward about that, so. But it almost, like, creeps me out when I see people doing that. But then it's like, oh, it's capitalism. Like, of course manipulation is their only reason for doing that. And then it's like, well, in that case, in that case, it's kind of weird. Because then how much are you, like, intentionally trying to market towards? I mean, but then it's like they should have fun. But it's like, are you marketing only, like, towards people who you feel like you can manipulate because your intelligence is larger than theirs, I guess. I think it's weird. Whatever. I don't even mean for all this stuff to be on my For You page. It just is. I'll just scroll. And it's another person mad and disappointed because they, like, waited for the countdown or something and it was just an opportunity to buy something. And they were like, oh, I thought it was gonna be a song. Or people who said, like, they waited their whole lunch break and it was just like an opportunity to buy something they didn't want to buy. So then maybe, you know, maybe the only fans are, the only ones who are actually, like, supposed to be fans are the ones who are gonna spend money. Maybe those are the only ones who are desired as fans, you know? And it's like, whatever. That person's just gonna do with their team what they do. I don't know. I don't have an only negative perception of anybody or an only positive perception of anybody, but it's smart to know what you would do and wouldn't do. And, you know, stuff like that reminds you of, like, your own, I don't know, like, who you really are, not who they really are. So. It's weird. It's weird. You can tell when people are using some form of magic. You can tell how advanced it is. But magic being strong doesn't mean they're intelligent. Because if somebody just has energy at the moment and then it goes somewhere, you can tell that it goes where they're constantly thinking about hoping it goes. And you could tell how advanced what they wish it would be is, if that makes sense. Like, if somebody has a lot of attention at some point in their life, they're just gonna have more energy, most likely. That doesn't mean the energy is going somewhere intelligent. Just because they could give people a panic attack in the audience at their show and then make people forget the whole show, that doesn't mean anything. They never said, I was so excited that this happened. They said, oh my God, the doctor said I must have been so excited that this happened. Those are two different things. I know for sure I was so excited that this happened, that's one thing. I know for sure the doctor said I was too excited and that's why this happened, those are two different things. Some people prioritize other people having panic attacks, not love. Some people will see both options, they're like, oh, so panic attacks mean love always, right? Okay, I'm gonna go for that. And some people said, oh, like if they just love the show and they don't show any medical symptoms, that's probably good, right? Because at least they just loved the show so much that they didn't have to show any medical symptoms in the moment of, you know what I mean? Some people prioritize, someone passed out at the show, but I looked like I gave them a bottle of water first, you know? Like, some people prioritize that. And some people prioritize, like, anything else. Anything else. Anything else. So when people are using magic, you can tell, like, where it went, essentially. So. But that's not all. One second, I'm just on the light so the lighting will be better. And the air conditioning, it's hot in here. Yeah. That's not all. When you don't have any energy, because nobody knows that you exist, a few things happen. changes in your life don't really happen that much, or not as fast. You have to work way harder for them, essentially. Yeah. So you have to prioritize, where do I want the energy to go, because at some point you realize, now your intelligence plays into house and you realize, and then you're like, oh, well clearly I'm not putting my energy towards the right things, right? I was gonna put up my hair, but that was gonna look bad and stupid. Anyway, let's see, do I want a candle? I want a candle. A candle? Oh, we are the candle. Okay. Yeah. My voice sounds so squeaky and annoying. Okay. So, when you have less energy in your chakras, because, I mean, I'm not saying people knowing about you is the only way, but I'm saying that definitely can give you energy. There's other ways people get energy. But that's definitely, like, the main, easiest way is for people to just know about you. Because you just get more energy if that happens. Like, it just happens. So, like, you get more energy when that happens. So, the energy starts to go where your whole life you said, oh, this is where I want the energy to go. That's where the energy starts to go at that point. So, you know, you spend your whole life saying, when I finally have energy, I want it to go here. You don't have energy. Then you say again, when I finally have energy, I want it to go here. When I finally have energy, I want it to go here, right? You don't get more energy added, but if you somehow manage to, then all the energy starts to go exactly where your whole life you said, I want it to go here and here and here, but not here and there. So, it is possible for some people to upgrade very fast, just faster than like celebrities who are already out there. It's not like they instantly surpass them, but at some point in time there's no reason to think they don't surpass them if they do upgrade, because they spent more time not having something. So they spent more time saying, oh, like, I would want the energy to go here. I would want the energy to go here. I would want the energy to go here. I just poured tea all over myself, not coffee, but tea. Just on myself, you know? On myself. On myself. On myself. Crazy. And people are not their team and they're not their marketing. Well, they are and they're not, right? It starts that way. They start as not being their team and their marketing. And then those people, depending on how strong they are, become essentially their shadow, or like their ghost experience of themselves. A part of themselves that they're not aware of, that they can't control personally. But it becomes like the way that your organs function. Obviously those people stay being separate people, but while they're a separate person, all the people on their team, they're also a placeholder for a part of someone's, my voice just, but for a part of someone's self where they're, you know, a part of someone's self, essentially. Or like where a servitor would go, or where a familiar would go, right? It's like, oh, I can, but on Earth it's like not that special. So on Earth, a person does that for you. And you have a whatever relationship with a person, hopefully it's an amazing business environment relationship with them. And you're both professional. so that you can be professional with your servitor or your familiar if you go on to a different planet. Okay. So those make choices, as you can imagine, depending on your strength. It does start not as a part of you, just as a team of people who are hopefully your friends or your business relationships, and you're all on good terms. Hopefully it goes that way at the start. Because sometimes you see a celebrity walk out and their stylist intentionally fucked them over. They couldn't tell, but the stylist can tell, and then the audience can tell, and everyone's like, who's gonna tell them? Who's gonna tell them that we know better? And then it becomes awkward and weird. So if somebody doesn't like you, you have to be careful, because what if you have a lapse of judgment yourself and somebody else lets you walk out there like that? What if someone lets you walk out like that? Would your own servitor or your own familiar do that? No, but these are real people. They're not actually a part of you. They are not actually a part of you. You don't die and take them with you, But on a more advanced planet, if we had a superstar, they would be so strong that a lot of people on their team, they might want real people too, but a lot of the people on their team would be servitors or familiars of theirs that they either adopted somehow or created, that kind of thing. So then those people can go and set the scene for them and do it the way that they would have wanted, but better, right? But the next level that they never would have thought of, but they would have been so grateful for. So, yeah. But you can watch people's relationships with their own team, and you can kind of see are they trying to go in the direction where they're trying to upgrade whatever this is, or are they trying to not care about whatever this is? Are they treating these people right? Is there something weird going on we don't know about? Are these people not even allowed to talk to the artist? And there's no chemistry in a business friendship type way, right? You want to have a little bit of conversation with them. You don't want to be they're not allowed to even talk to me. Maybe when you're not on the job, but when you're all there on the job, you don't want to be yeah, so they're never even allowed to say a word to me. That would be weird, I think. Unless you've had an extremely high amount of bad situations, then it would be a little weird. And so long as you have, you can think about people's dynamics. Okay, so if there's a bunch of dancers in the room, are they the teacher in the room, or are they hiring somebody, outsourcing somebody else who is the head of the operation? Oh, you dance like this, then you do this, then you do that, right? It's how much control did the main artist have, and how much were they trying to say no to stuff? How much were they not? So, I don't know. I think it's funny. So, that adds to the point where, not because somebody's famous, does that mean that they necessarily have the amount of energy they would need in order to, have the number one best relationship with all of these parts of themselves and other people. Because that didn't have to be prioritized at some point in their life. So if the artist, it sounds kind of biased, but if I just say they had a harder life at some point, or even in a past life they had to face themselves really, really seriously, maybe they had a really, really hard past life, or their current life at some point was really, really hard, their chakras are going to have that impression and just that energy. Maybe they don't have energy right now, but when they receive energy, it's going to go here, 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 and here really fast, and they're going to be able to upgrade to get to the next level, which looks like this. Not everybody has the next level as looking like something specific. Some people have the next level as looking like something, but they might be looking at an A-list celebrity can still look at an influencer as the next level. And they might not be wrong to, but it's a weird paradox. It's like, no, they shouldn't, that's probably what's going wrong. But at the same time, it's like, well, what if that influencer had something happen to their chakras at some point in time and they have that energy built up, so it's going somewhere really important at some point in time? It's kind of a weird paradox, because it's like, for some of the celebrities, they should be looking over there. For some of them, that's going to be the problem. Did they look up to the right influencer as a A-list celebrity? Some of them just turn off their phone and never go back on, you know? Like, they don't have to. That was never their passion. So how much of being in the entertainment industry was their passion? It's weird. But also maybe literally only focusing on what they do was their passion, but then how many songs do they even put out? One song in like 8 years. And it's like, so you turned off your phone just to do that? You must have a TV on in your house that's never off, or you must really like handwritten letters. I don't know what you like, but it's barely going well, I guess. You can't even turn on your phone. You might get a hate comment. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't realize this has been 42 minutes. It feels like it's been 3, so. Anyway, a lot of these people out there who are in the entertainment industry, they're placeholders. It's a placeholder opinion of the hypothetical version of you that would be out there. They're never going to know about you, or if they do, the amount of influence they've already added to your life was in your own brain, not them. Like they weren't the one who did that. If you imagine somebody as having an influence on you, your soul just used them as a placeholder for something else. They're real and they're not real. Because that's a person out there, but your imaginary version of them did all the heavy lifting that you imagined they did. Doesn't mean they did. Doesn't mean you know what they chose in their life or for themselves. You just use them as a placeholder, you know? So if you could use them creatively, I guess use them. But you find out the celebrity did something, oh, was it your made-up version of them or the real them out there? Some of these people, the made-up version has more energy than the real thing out there. Some of these people, they're bonded. I would venture to say that, well, not everything that you say about everyone is always, true, obviously. But I would venture to say that Christina Aguilera is a good example of somebody who's able to have a more, bonded situation with both her team. You look at them and they're all wearing the same symbol, essential for her marketing, but also not just for marketing. It's still a magical symbol to keep them all in unison, essentially. It is some form of magic. It is. It's higher level magic than the other A-list celebrities. It's just maybe there's a few levels she didn't get to, but her base form of this is more magical than the other A-list celebrities. I can't think of another one that has that much magic just in the branding. You know, or even when they do, even when they're now venturing into trying it, it's really weak magic for them because they didn't prioritize that their whole life, essentially. So, that's what I see it as. I do see Christina Aguilera's energy in the entertainment industry as really just sharp, like right now, like it feels like it's like as sharp as a knife. Like whether she personally does a lot of it herself or not, I see it as like very bonded to itself in ways that the other celebrities just haven't even tried to get to. But even if they had tried to get to, they have no energy to put towards it because they haven't had this in their practice. You have to think of any of these as like a magical practice, right? But then it's like, for some of these people, how long have they been thinking of it as a magical practice? So for Christina Aguilera, that did start earlier rather than later. And a lot of these people, it never occurred to them that could be real, even though they were essentially involved in a magical practice. It's like, so you were involved in a ritual for how long before it became a ritual to you? 10 years, or 15 years, 20 years? You've been involved in a ritual every day of your life for 20 years, and it just now for the first time clicked for you that maybe some of this magic is real. It's kind of a bad look. For some of these people, it's a bad look, and they don't know, and they're never supposed to find out. So, or if they find out, they're just not gonna believe it's real. That's another reason why I don't mind giving out like some information that some people would keep to themselves or like secret, whatever. Like, not everything, but like some of it is gonna completely go over somebody's head, and they're not gonna think it's real, and they're not gonna believe it. But at least maybe they debate it at some point in time, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, you weren't gonna debate it otherwise. So, you know, but I don't mind talking about something that people normally might not, because why not? Why not? Why not? Like, I didn't have to, but like, a lot of people it's gonna go over their head completely, or they'll pretend to agree or something at most. So I'm like, pretty much, like, I don't think people would get it if they're not willing to let themselves get it. So at the same time, it doesn't matter who finds out about magical information. It does and it doesn't, because they're not even gonna try to use it if they don't believe in themselves. If they don't believe in that part of themselves, or they're gonna believe it in a really weak way where they think, okay, even if they do one spell, it's gonna work for the next 30 years and they never have to try again. They'll be like, oh, but like, some people have the mindset of like, I've done 4,000 spells and like, I just need to focus on the next one. That's the most important thing. Some people have the mindset of like, oh, they're like, I did one spell and like, it's still working. When did you do the spell? 70 years ago. Like, oh, right. I bet it's still working. I'm gonna let you go that way. Like, you must have had a really strong past life if it's still working. They're like, what's that? So it is what it is. Anyway, I don't know, I'm just gonna like let the air clear to talk about the next topic, because I feel like I didn't even mean to go that way and it's been 50 minutes. But I've got stronger energy than all that, so I don't know. There's this thing. I know what I'm currently working on and overcoming right now, and it's funny because for me, different words will pop into my head, and it's like, so that's what you're currently interacting with, the part of you that you're currently working on and interacting with. So and it's funny because it's like, okay, this is the energy that's currently like hitting me, but it's like, how am I going to work on this part of me when I do have some energy? I had this thing where I would take everything as condescending. I would take everything as condescending as somebody else being above me, but I really wasn't like into that, you know. So there were or not like somebody else is more important than me, whatever, because I'm fine with other people being more important than me. I'm very humble. I'm not like against other people being more important than me. It's not about that. It was very much like an awkward thing where like I don't know, like people would intentionally, they would have very good intentions. They would have very like kind intentions where we're like on an even playing field, and that's what my voice is messing up, but that's what I would clearly this part of my psyche is just not evolved, but not as much as I want. I'm still figuring out what all this is for me, but yeah. Every time I open my mouth, my voice is coming out a different way. It's just how it is. So, yeah. I would take all of it, weirdly. People would say something normal to me that's like, oh, we're on the same level, and I would take that in a condescending way. That I was not fine with, also. Like, I would just take stuff, like, in, like, a bad way. I'm still figuring out the energy, because clearly maybe they were just actually like that to me. I mean, sometimes they were, some people were. But it's possible there were just people who I wasn't aware of who actually just were that way to me. But it's possible there were people who weren't actually that way to me that I just took that way. Or it's possible they didn't know about the part of themselves that made me feel that way intentionally. Like, it gets kind of deep, but I don't know. There's a lot going on, but yeah. I'm still figuring out, like, what's going on here. So I feel like my voice gets kind of messed up. And then I'm like, okay, so I just took things the wrong way a lot. And like facing my shadow, facing the awkwardness, facing, so what if they are better than me and they think they're better than me, and so what if it's in a way where they're trying to only get power over like being better than me in their own mind, like, and intentionally abusing that power. Like, so what if that's how I've met people who were, it doesn't mean that the good parts of them don't exist within me still, even if I lose the rest of them because they were terrible with anybody. It's like, okay, so all of the good parts that I learned in the situation involving you, like, those all still exist, even if you didn't. So it doesn't have to be, because even if it's not intentional, the mind still does that. Or when it is intentional and it's not something the other person would ever admit to, it's still something that the soul absorbs and that the mind absorbs, and it's still something that carries meaning that the person directly feels. So, but then it's also like, oh, are these, like, another thing that'll pop into my head is like, oh, are these energy strings yours or mine? And then I'm like, oh, I didn't even know there were like energy strings at play right now, but let me just pay way more attention to like this moment. So it's very where my aura is cut with this is not in a way that implies disrespect from the other person. It's just or people, it's just in a way where I absorb energy whether or not I feel like there's disrespect in some way. And then it'll be like, I feel like I have a very complex imagination and complex soul, and then it'll be like, oh, well, of course I'm still on good terms with that person or that person or that person, because it's like, I didn't do anything and they didn't do anything, and I made up all of these things because I had so much to work on that I made up all of these things about us for no reason. So, oh well. I just made up so much stuff, you know? So, yeah. But it's like, oh, how intelligent is that? Like, it's not bad. But yeah, the words that come to my mind started as something that I couldn't cope with in a lot of ways, and then evolved into something that I could cope with, because there's always just like a word that comes to my mind, like, anyway. Sorry guys, the recording ended because I accidentally had videos in my recently deleted that I didn't delete fully. Forever grateful and forever hating the recently deleted album of photos. Wow. I just thought of something so funny. So funny for both of us. Are you ready? Are you even gonna believe it? I love to talk to fire a little bit. It's just fun. I don't know what it does. I don't know yet, but wow. I'm glad the other recording ended because my voice sounds better now. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video. I love you guys. Mwah.